Did you have any experiences during college that were sort of memorable outside of the actual academic portion of it? Did any memorable like were you someone that partied in college, sort of had a good time in that way? Or were you like more of like a homebody? You stayed in there and you studied regularly, and turned your
Definitely.
homework in on time and stuff like that.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And just because of my experiences, like, mind you, I was with this guy, sidebar, he was from Guyana. I was with this
What?
guy. Yeah,
No
he
wonder you've been
was.
looking at me like that. I've noticed that
Oh,
look.
yeah,
I noticed
right.
that look. I listen. Let me say this to you. I'm not your typical Guyanese. Okay, I do not represent all Guyanese. I'm just a Guyanese man. Okay, so whatever experiences you had and anybody else is watching, because I've come across people before who've dated Guyanese men, and they may not have had the best experiences with those men. Okay.
No, but you know what? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We allow what we think we deserve, and not for nothing, as crazy as it is. And I always tell people, I think that's why I was with him for so long, because yeah, he was pretty effed up on a lot of levels, but on a side level, the thing that kept me with him for so long is he was so caring. Like,
Mm,
he was so caring, and he wasn't like that bum dude that's like, don't go to school. Like, he wanted me to go to school. He wanted me to be successful. It was just like, you could be successful, but you gotta come right home. You could be successful, but don't be talking to no men, other men. Like, you could
mm,
be successful. He was very controlling and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I think that's what kind of cornered me into just staying with him, because he was very caring, and I
Yeah.
learned a lot. I learned a lot from a wisdom standpoint, but nonetheless to say, I wasn't looking at you like that. And your accent is so different. I'm surprised I didn't pick up on it. Like, it doesn't sound very Guyanese to me.
Because I'm doing a good job right now of hiding it. Maybe showing it to you right now. You
Oh,
understand? Yeah, that's what I was saying.
yes, 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 yes. I even think I picked up on it a little bit, because there's little things that I say that I'm like, I was with him for years, at least almost over 4 years. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and I love Caribbean people. I love Caribbean people,
Yeah.
just in my heart. But yeah. So no, I pretty much was a homebody,
Yeah.
And the thing about Syracuse University is, when I went to Syracuse University, I saw people doing the party thing,
Okay.
and I was so irritated with it, because I'm just like, you know, and not for nothing. I kind of did that when I was like way underage and shouldn't have been
Yeah.
doing it. You know what I'm
So you kind of
saying? So
got it
by
out of your
that
system
time,
a little bit.
yeah. So I was just
Yeah.
like, and for me too, it's like, I'm that girl that, like, if I'm studying, I need pure silence. Either silence,
Mm.
classical music, or meditation music. Like, I'm not someone, like, there's people who can listen to like rap or like other stuff. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I like libraries,
Yeah.
So the fact that I was in school, it's like, I just took it really seriously, and I definitely didn't have any experiences of like partying, and wasn't my thing. And then by the
Hmm.
time I did go to BCC, I was a mom. So if anything, I was irritated. I was highly irritated with like the younger generation not knowing assignments were due and complaining all the time that assignments were due. I'm just like, I'd be the person in class looking at them like, just be quiet. We all got
Yeah.
the syllabus. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to grow
Yeah.
up. And I would say to them, like, no one cares about you anymore. Okay. So you need to care about you. This is not high school. No one's
Yeah.
chasing you. Get the work done, or you're going to flunk and you're going to owe money. Just get it done. But honestly, I'm not knocking school, and I'm not boasting either right now. I got a
Yeah.
3.9 GPA when I graduated.
Okay.
And the only reason why I got a 3.9 was because my teacher, who I used to argue with the whole semester, because she was such a bad teacher, she was horrible. She gave me an A minus, which to me an A minus is such a slap in the face, because it's like, you did great, but I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is a minus? Like, how do you
You're
get an
taking
A
it personal.
minus? Yeah, but it shouldn't exist.
Well,
The
maybe you
A
forgot
minus
to
should not
cross your
exist.
one T and then dot your one I. I mean, she just had to show it to you. You know what I'm saying? You got
Please.
to make sure you.
She was a hater. She didn't
I'll tell
like
you
that I
right
would
now.
challenge her.
I'll tell you right now. So that's where we're different. I'm assuming. So you don't have any problems paying attention to things. That's probably one of the ways we are very different, because I have a serious problem paying attention to things
Mm-hmm.
outside of people. Okay, I love talking to people. Hence why I'm on this platform. I will pay attention all day talking to someone who's very interesting. But anything else, like you start throwing some math in my face, I'm thinking about, well,
Yeah.
what was for breakfast? What
Right.
was breakfast tomorrow? That's what I'm talking about. What was for breakfast tomorrow?
Right. Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
yeah. So,
But I don't think, I think college is, it's just, I think now the times that we live in, there's so many opportunities to learn and to grow, to make money,
yeah,
right? Why do we go to college? Because we want to make money. We
yeah.
want to feel important. We want to be admired, whatever the hell people do it for, So that's why I've never really continued on. But to me, it was just an experience to get that notch under my belt and then, use it to the best of my ability to capitalize.
I have this discussion with people all the time because they'll ask me, if what am I going to do? Am I going to go back to college and stuff like that? And I'm not going to discourage anybody from going to school and going to college. I just think if you, I got to be very careful what I say here. Okay. For me personally, I don't have any intention of going back to college, um, because I know what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy what I
Exactly.
do. Okay. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that sort of fortitude to, or sort of that vision of knowing what you want to do, then by all means go to college. And along the way, people tend to figure out what they want to do along the way, or hopefully get some sort of degree or something that is going to let them earn some money whilst they figure out what they want to do. The other thing with college, what it does is it gives you the ability, because a lot of times people go into college right after high school or whatever the case is. And when you're in high school or you're at home, people are holding your hand and making sure you do your homework on time, and they're checking in on you, and they're making sure you stay
Mm-hmm.
awake and you're studying or whatever the case is. When you go to college, it's a little bit of your first opportunity of adulthood, a little taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to manage yourself because the professor isn't messaging you, asking you if you did your homework on time or whatever the case is. He's just like turning your assignments, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Pass or fail, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the benefits of it is it sort of to some degree teaches you some discipline, especially if you can get through the process. And I think that's why a lot of jobs require a college education of some kind, even if the job has nothing to do with the degree that you actually earn in college. So you see a lot of people going for liberal arts degrees or whatever the case is, where they sort of touch on every little thing, and then they use that to go in to different fields. When I left college myself, I did not graduate, but when I left college, um, the job that I had required a college degree. They didn't care what college degree; they just wanted you to have it because it kind of showed that you had some measure of intelligence, I guess, slightly above average. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that after college, you kind of got into radio. I know you touched on that already. And there's
Mm-hmm.
something communication and video and things like that. Um, how did that happen? I mean, did you just earn the communications, went to school for communications, and you just sort of fell into it? Like, did you have to pursue
No,
these
let me tell
jobs?
you. No, my life, because I'm very, I'm a woman of God, period. Because every experience I have is an experience that leads to another experience that leads to another experience. So when I moved back to the upstate New York, I got a job working at a radio station, but I was just a receptionist. And I remember uh, they needed someone to record a commercial one day, and they come up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you record this commercial for us?" And I'm like, "Hey, no problem. I've never recorded a commercial a day in my life." So I go down to the studio, I record the commercial, and I look around at everybody, and everyone's just like,
Hmm.
"Oh my God, you have such a perfect voice for radio."
Yeah,
And I've always kind of looked up to Oprah in a way as a commentator. I've always loved the way she interviewed people, her style. Like she could be invasive a little bit, but not raunchy. She wasn't like Wendy Williams, like, "So girl, how was it?" Like she always could
yeah.
get you to tell you her certain things, but she wasn't raunchy about it. And I've always loved that about her. So anyways, I record the commercial, and then it kind of just sparked something in me where I was like, I should go to school. I should go to school for this and do this. And while I'm working at that radio station, I met a gentleman. Um, he was coming into the radio station to get his artist played. He owned a production studio right on the next block over. And we kind of just connected and we became friends. And while I got my degree, I interned for his production agency. And the funniest thing was I had to do a project for, it was like an intro to audio class or something like that. And my project was, no, it was intro to radio. And for my project, I had to create my own radio station. And it was a country, of course they gave me country. They're like, you're Black, we're going to make you do country. So my favorite number is 3. So my radio station was 93.3.
Ooh.
So the person that I was, before I had interned with them, they called me and they're like, listen, Eb, we got some really big things happening. We're getting our radio license. Like there's a lot of big things happening. And we see you being one of our radio hosts. And the radio station is going to be, the frequency will be 93.3. And I'm like, no way.
Mm-hmm. It worked out perfectly.
Right? I'm like, no way. And,
Yeah.
that kind of just happened. And I was a general manager for them. I did everything. I recorded commercials. I had my own show on Sundays called Sunday Soul Chat, which is funny because now I do that as a podcast. I stuck with that name.
Oh, Sunday School Chat is your podcast.
Sunday Soul Chat.
Okay.
It's my podcast is Soul Chat, and then I have a Sunday Soul Chat live on Instagram series that I interview people about different things, relationships, just conversations that are deeper than the soul and that are interesting,
Yes.
Yeah.
So 93.3 FM coming to you live. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of my radio voice I'm trying to do here.
Yes.
So when I started this channel, I actually, and this is a little bit of overzealousness. But when I started this channel, and I started this platform, I should say, I've actually just moved on to putting the videos now on Facebook, and other platforms. I'll be putting them on Instagram and things like that. But when I started out, I love audio. I love radio, and sort of radio and music was something that was a tether to me from out of the void. At one point in my life, I was abandoned, and sort of left for dead, left to my own devices when I was, let's say, about 5 years old. And when I sort of was left in this house by myself to fend for myself at that early age, this is back in Guyana. The thing that kept me out of the void and kept me believing that I would make it was radio. I had the radio on every night. And it's funny because, being a Black man here in America, I will put on soft rock at work or whatever the case is, because this is the 80s, okay? And I'm a little bit older than you, in case you can't tell from all the wrinkles. But this is in the late 80s, and we, in Guyana and outside of America, American culture is pervasive. So we listen to a lot of soft rock and things like that. So even now at my age, the people I work with, most of them are white. And they'll turn on some soft rock station or some 80s pop music, and I'll sing right along with them. And they'll be like, "What? How do you know this song?" You know what I'm saying? I've never told them the story, and I know some of them are listening to the podcast. That's how I know these songs. It's because they were tethered to me. They kept me in place, and I love radio, and I love those deep radio voices and things like that. I never really kind of wanted to be in radio or audio or anything like that, but I just love it, and I don't even know. It's very hard for me to sleep without either sort of meditation music going or classical music, or like voices like Delilah and these. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So definitely,
that's
huge.
Full circle.
That's full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like you don't know why I think this life is that way. You don't know why things stick out to you or why you gravitate towards them. But to me, I feel like when you then sit in that space of like recording your own podcast and being a voice, you then emanate what what it was to you, right? But you didn't know why you sat and gravitated towards that. You could have gravitated towards anything. You could have gravitated towards the stars. You could have gravitated towards the grass. Like,
Yeah.
you could have gravitated towards a million things, but you chose the radio, So you definitely have a radio voice for sure.
I'm just putting it on. This is not hard. I just turned the microphone up. That's all. But I got a little bit excited once I started this channel. I was starting to say, and I got attention deficit. And I went around to all the local radio stations in Binghamton, and I got 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Like, what opportunities do you guys have? Can I do an interview or something? You know what I'm saying? Just overzealous. So I definitely like the fact that you were able to have that sight at such a young age to sort of pursue your dreams. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. I was one of those people that never really knew, because I moved around a lot. I left Guyana when I was 6, lived in St. Lucia for 10 years. Grew up in St. Lucia, moved to the Bronx, lived in the Bronx, which I absolutely disliked. Living in big cities. I'm a country boy. I'm an island man. That's what I like. I like the beach. I like the ocean. That's what I like. I don't like big cities and concrete. And yeah, it was sort of a tether, radio for me. And I just automatically went around and just sort of, I was pitching to iHeartRadio, and these people were probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, you got 50 subscribers. I mean, they were being nice, but you got 50 subscribers and you're out here. I called this radio station, called the guy, and he was telling me about his audience in downtown Binghamton. He's telling me about his, that radio station. I don't know if you're familiar, the radio station on State Street with the big red letters and stuff like that. Downtown Binghamton. But
yeah, that's the first one I worked at.
Is it?
Yeah.
I walked right into the radio station. I was like, just making demands and stuff like that, and of course subsequently I was ignored. A couple people did respond when I called them back and things like that, but I haven't pursued it since. But who knows, maybe I'll try again one day, or I won't. Who knows?
I mean, the thing about radio, I mean, I could definitely plug you with the one I was with. I don't even know what they're doing. I mean, they need somebody, but I think the thing with radio that people don't see is that it's not you see like the Breakfast Club and those type of things. I find that in smaller cities, there's not opportunity for a voice, right? They want a personality, but everything else is just numbers, advertisers, and the personality is like the sometimes fill-in. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, It's not like the Breakfast Club where you're like, yo, I'm a radio host. It's kind of like you basically get a list from corporate. Corporate says, we're playing this list of songs today.
Oh, no.
You need to plug this here.
No.
Most of your radio hosts get there at like 5 a.m. They'll record a little bit. That'll air like during the morning drive hour a little bit. So you'll think they're there. But it's not really like it used to be. And even when you see the Breakfast Club, I mean, they have the same format. They just have paid attention to the ability to reach people via YouTube and video and stuff like that. So they have this set up like we just sit down and we just like, it's only because it's so popular. Interviews are so popular and people love celebrities and stuff like that, that people saw that was an area for opportunity. But I mean, radio has definitely changed. It's not radio like we think it is. It's not like your DJ that's there and, we think they have, ability to rock out. And that's really only in like big cities from what I see, but in smaller cities, it's like, you don't have the chance. iHeartRadio is not iHeart. The iHeartRadio out here, that's not even iHeartRadio. That's just like, that's like something they got playing. That's just, they just hit a button, and it goes. And they record local commercials and insert the local commercials and stuff. So you think it's like a local thing, and it's really not.
So that artistic freedom really isn't there to sort of make it your own. Yeah.
No.
See, that wouldn't work for me. I cannot be a drone. I have to be a free thinker. I have to insert my art. So
for sure.
So one of your slogans is heal and thrive into wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
What is the significance of becoming whole? What does being whole mean to you?
Mm-hmm. So being whole to me is understanding your divinity. One of the things I think that God tells us in many religions that we just gloss over is that you were made in the image of God.
Mm.
And to me, that's such a grand statement that I think the human mind can't comprehend it, doesn't want to comprehend it. It wants to say, no, let me worship you. Let me
Mm.
just beg you and pray for you for everything that I need because I don't have control. You're the one who's in control. And yes, God is in control. But in this here domain of earth, in the physical waking reality, we have the power
Mm.
over everything. And that's
Yeah.
even told to us. We have power and dominion over everything, over the land,
Mm.
everything.
Yeah.
So to me, wholeness is embodying that truth and being able to take your experiences. And like I said in the beginning, you got to become third person to them because you can't be whole. I know that feeling. I know that feeling of feeling broken. I know that feeling of feeling useless. You know that feeling.
Yes.
Deserted, abandoned. I was in foster care for a portion of my life, and if you don't have parents who love on you and are active with you, even if you have parents who are there and provide everything for you, there's kids who are rich, there's kids have parents who are millionaires who feel just as abandoned as those poor little kids who live in poverty.
Yes.
So the degree of feeling non-whole is just that void, and we all in the 21st century are seeking to fill that void. We do it with purchasing, over consuming things. You see the craze with every holiday now is like you buy something. If you have kids in school, it's just crazy because it's like we are just consumers, and we're looking to fill voids, and we're looking to supplement who we think we need to be. We supplement it with things opposed to saying, I am whole, right? When you are whole, you stop making certain decisions. You stop shopping, especially for women. You stop shopping for the sake of shopping. You stop shopping for the sake of, trying to impress others or even yourself or
Mm.
fill a void of unworthiness,
Yeah.
So to me, wholeness is just remembering that you are made in the image of God. You are a powerful creator, and you have to really sit back and look at why you do what you do. And they say that 98% of people suffer from unworthiness. So we all suffer from unworthiness. That's because we don't feel whole. When you feel whole and you pour from an overflowing cup, you don't need anything. If
Mm.
I'm overflowing, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I'm giving, and if I receive, it's great, and it's just going to add to my overflow. In which, what am I going to do? I'm going to give back again,
Mm.
And I think because people don't operate like that, we live in a depleted society with mental illness and over consuming and sickness
Mm.
and crime, and that's why we live in the times we live in, because people don't embody wholeness and they don't search for wholeness. They would rather sugarcoat it and search for other things. A woman would rather buy makeup than to buy a self-love course.
Mm. Okay.
Right.
Right.
Right, the
Right.
majority, so that, what does that say? That says that we are not comfortable with it because it's painful. It's painful to say, why am I the way that I am, and what are the things that really hurt me? Because they
Mm.
hurt. They really
Mm-hmm.
hurt. I mean, even though I'm a healer, stepping away from an 11-year relationship taught me so much of things that I was afraid of, and so many painful childhood memories that I didn't want to relive.
Okay. And so would becoming whole be akin to finding happiness? Like ultimate self actualization. Would that be akin to that in any
Yeah,
way?
I would say self-actualization. I wouldn't say happiness, because I think we are humans, and happiness in a way is illusion,
Mm.
because we're meant to feel many emotions. So I feel like
Mm.
if you just chase happiness, when you experience anything other than that, and I've been this person, so I'm speaking from experience, you feel even more grief because you're like, I'm just supposed to be happy. everything's supposed to be sunshine. And if it's not sunshine, it's wrong and it's bad. And it's just, and I think equally that causes more suffering, but to me, it's just wholeness is definitely self-actualization. And to me, it's the embodiment of, I think for the lack of better terms, I really think what comes to mind is like Christ consciousness, which is a consciousness of flow, a consciousness of nothing is good, nothing is bad, everything works out for me, everything is a blessing. Like you're able to have a mentality that you're just moving through life. Like life moves through you and you allow it. But you always have to become a third person to experiences, because experiences create perceptions that are not real, right? So it's kind of like you see somebody in a store and they roll their eyes at you. Yeah. They could have been looking past you and, saw something else and, but it's the experience. And then all of a sudden that experience then turns into you being like, what are you looking at? And it's like, or our childhoods, especially with childhoods, they create this experience that what did you being abandoned at 5 really tell your subconscious mind? It told your subconscious mind that you are not worthy, that nobody cares about you, nobody's going to ever be there for you, and that you have to fend for yourself. And that I'm sure you've probably been able to reflect, and I'm sure at points of your life you have felt very unsupported, and you've repeated that subconscious thought over and over and over again. And when we repeat it, only until you stop it and you go, what? I am safe, guided, and supported at all times. I'm supported by God. There's no problem or undesirable situation in the mind of God, who is in me and around me and surrounds me now. So I'm good. It don't matter what's happening. God was there with you.
Yes.
Right? And God gave you a tool and a thing, and that you gravitated to, and that kept you, because you could have been someone else. You could have turned out to be like a drug lord, because you're like, I hate people. And I hate everybody because I was abandoned, and nobody loves you and nobody loves me. And, this is just the way life is, So I think there's power when we take those experiences and we transform them into wholeness, because you transform that into wholeness of, no, it didn't mean I wasn't worthy. That was their thing, like I took it and I flipped it and I made it into something positive. And to me, that's the discovery of wholeness. And like you said, self-actualization. I think happiness is a definite. It's you have to tread lightly with that. I do think we need to understand, especially within the Black community, what joy is.
Oh, okay.
I think wholeness allows you to experience joy. Joy and happiness are not the same thing.
Okay, that's a word I don't use enough of.
Yeah, so happiness is like, I went and had my favorite ice cream, and you're just like dangling your feet
because
you're
fleeting.
Like, yes,
It's temporary.
Right. Yeah, right. Unless you keep eating the ice cream and then you regret it because you're like, damn, and now I weigh 5 pounds heavier, and then your happiness is gone, right?
The happiness is gone.
Right, but joy is whether I'm big, whether I'm skinny, whether I'm in a box, whether I'm in a mansion, whether I have love, have no love, whether it doesn't matter. Like, I have this joy inside of me that is just so happy to be alive, so happy to experience this. And I think joy is, an ebb and flow of feeling too. And I think we have to create it and curate it a lot, really, in finding gratitude and just the mundane things. But it's just, to me, joy is just that thing where it's like you light up from the inside out.
Okay.
And you're just, your happiness is overflow, because I feel like the ice cream experience is a happiness inflow, right? You're not eating ice cream like, yo, come here, let me tell you about this ice cream I'm eating right now. But when you're having a really great day and you just feel in the spirit of joy, and you're like, hey, you guys, great morning. Hey, you guys, you know what? Let me pay for that coffee behind me.
Right.
I don't know what their day is like right now, but I'm just having a freaking amazing day. Let me pay for their coffee. Like, you're just high-fiving people, like skipping. This is like me to a T, But, it's just a different experience. And I've learned the difference between the two and what joy is. And when you have joy, to me, that's when you're in your light. You're in your connectedness with God. That's the God that wants you to exuberate it so other people can see it and go like, what are you taking? Like, what are you on? I need some of that,
Yes. Please search on YouTube for Just a Thought Vlog and follow us on social media.